Alright guys, let's talk about what makes a good Gelix tip. First thing, when you open the box, pay attention to the color and the shine. Because these are made of gel, the shinier they are, the better the quality. Next is thickness. The free edge should be a little thicker so it has strength. But the part that sits on the nail plate should be thinner and flexible, so it lays down smoothly and takes the shape of the natural nail. Same with the cuticle area. The thinner it is, the easier it slips right under the cuticle for a seamless fit. And the last thing is the C-curve. When you look at it from the front, the more curve it has, the easier it hugs the sidewalls and gives you that perfect fit. Nails are categorized by their arch, the sidewall line, and the C-curve. When the sidewalls are straight and run parallel to the finger's center line, that's a standard nail-end. It usually comes with a soft, natural arch. I'm gonna call the sidewall line A and the center line B. As you can see, A runs parallel to B. When I look at the nail's arch from the side, it's very gentle. Now let's take a look from the top. As you can see, the right and left sidewalls are still straight and running parallel to each other. And that right there is another key feature of a standard nail. The next feature of standard nails is the width. The width of the nail stays the same all the way along its length. Let me explain that to the cuticle area. The width matches the middle of the nail and also the free edge. So when you look at it from the top, it has more of a rectangular shape. Alright, on this picture, I've labeled this part as X and this part as Y. And with what we just explained, now X equals Y. And the last feature, the C-curve, is about 25 to 30 degrees. If you picture the free edge of the nail as part of a circle when you're looking straight on, the C-curve of these nails is roughly 1/3 of that circle. Some people even say 30%. For standard nails, choosing Gelix tips is usually pretty easy. Most of them will fit just fine. But still, you always want to test to make sure. That's it for the standard nail. Now let's move on to the second category, the downward nails. As you can see, the sidewall line is slanted and slopes downward, which means as the nail grows, it keeps going down. Notice how it actually crosses the finger's center line. When you look from the top, the two sidewalls aren't parallel. The closer they get to the free edge, the narrower the distance becomes, almost like an upside-down triangle with the point facing down. The width of the nail is wider at the cuticle area, and the closer you get to the free edge, the narrower it becomes. Alright, again let's imagine the C-curve as part of a circle. This category of nails has a very strong arch and a very deep C-curve. Some of them even have a 50-degree C-curve, which basically makes it look like half a circle. In general, it ranges anywhere from 35 to 50 degrees. So when it comes to choosing tips, if you don't pay attention to the arch and the C-curve, you're definitely going to run into problems. Just like I do, you should check the C-curve from the front. And also look at the arch from the side of the tip. Of course, you always need to do this directly on the nail, because it can cover the sidewalls properly and sit nice and flush on the nail surface. Alright, now let's move on to the third category, upward nails, also known as ski jump nails. As the name suggests, these nails grow upward. You can see that the sidewall line not only isn't parallel with the finger's center line, but it actually changes direction completely. These nails usually don't have much of an arch. Some of them are even scooped out like a spoon, with the highest point of the nail being right at the free edge. Now let's take a look from the top. You can see the sidewalls aren't parallel. It's the complete opposite of downward nails. The closer you get to the free edge, the farther apart the sidewalls become, creating more space. It almost looks like a triangle or even like the shape of a skirt. So it's pretty clear that the nail width at the cuticle area and at the free edge is different. Again, it's the opposite of downward nails. The cuticle area is narrower, and the closer you get to the free edge, the wider it becomes. And now for the C-curve. These nails usually don't have one at all, or it's very minimal. It's roughly around 10 to 20 degrees. So for these nails, you want to pick a tip that doesn't have too much of an arch or secret. I'm sure after this, a lot of the problems you've been having with Gel-X are going to be solved. Here you can see 3 different types of tips, each with a different arch and C-curvage shown from both the front and the side. When it comes to half-covered Gel-X tips, there are a few things you need to know. As you know, these are applied closer to the free edge, and they're usually very thin and flexible. But like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, one of the key features of a good Gel-X tip is strength at the free edge end. Unfortunately, half-covered tips don't really have that. So either don't use them, or if you really want to, make sure they're fixed properly. And remember, after applying them, you need to cover the surface with builder gel and build your apex. But honestly, I've got a better solution for you. Make your own using full cover Gel-X tips. Just take a cutter and trim off the cuticle area like I do. Why is this better? Because you still get the free edge strength and the sidewalls lay perfectly flat on the nail. I actually have a video on this in my Gel-X playlist where you can watch the whole process from start to finish. And now, let's talk about choosing the right tip size. Of course, if you follow everything I've explained up to this point, choosing the right size is definitely going to be a lot easier. I'm going to show you on one of my nails how to pick the right size tip. I've picked out 3 different sizes. Let's test them together. First, I'm going to test the largest one. Since we apply the tip with hand pressure, when we're sizing it, we need to use that same pressure as well. See here on one side, it looks perfect. It's covering the sidewall completely. Not too small, not too big, just a perfect fit. But look at this side, it's too big. It's sitting on the skin, and it's not laying on the nail at all. Next, I'm testing the one that's a size smaller. I think this one might be good, but let's check and see. My guess was right. It covers both sides really well. Not too big, not too small, and it sits perfectly on the nail. From the side, you can see that not only did I pick the right size, but I also got the right shape. The arch of the tip matches my nail perfectly. And from the front, the curve fits just right too. Even though we've already found the right size, I still want to test the smaller one so you can see the difference. I can feel that it's too small. The pressure I'm using with my hand is way too much just to try and fix it in place. And look, it's not even covering the sidewall. Learned the key Gel-X tips today? Watch my full tutorial for more. Don't forget to like and comment.